Meteorologist Diane Phillips here with a look at that WTOL 11 weather forecast. And I'm sure a lot of you were checking the app this morning and said, whew, look at those temperatures. And then when you were out the door, already this morning, we could feel a difference as, well, it's January and we are talking 50s for today. Even upper 50s are going to be possible for the afternoon, and we'll have that spring-like feeling, but we also have the spring showers to go with it. You'll have some pockets of rain that will be scattered here and there on this Wednesday, but southwest winds, they're still in place for us. It'll be later on today that we will start to see that change because we still have the center of our storm that's off towards our west, so you're going to be finding that, and that's going to be left of Lake Michigan. So we are going to be looking at that rainfall. Many of us, though, are done with the heavy, steady rain. You will find that east of here. Then we're into the dry slot of our storm. So hopefully, though, that dry slot can give us a little bit as far as some sun. But those clouds, we know it's the winter season and they're pretty stubborn for us. But you might be wondering, okay, the snow, are we going to have to work through that? And we will still have to see the system move on by. And that means, yes, we do have a couple of flurries in that forecast. So let's just talk, though, about rain chances and just kind of how busy the pattern's been. Well, the last couple of mornings, we've woke up to wet and damp starts. And so we do just have a few kind of lower end chances for rainfall for the rest of the work week and even through the weekend. And none of these days, super soakers, none of the days you'll be waterlogged, but it's just enough that we have to keep mentioning and watching for that wet weather in our forecast. Even Friday, we're looking at a 20% chance, and mainly we're just going to be seeing those snow flurries here. Now, looking though at the rainfall that we had, like I said, many of us are going to be done mainly with that heavy, steady rain. And you're going to find that east of 75. So we're going to have that through eastern Ottawa County. You can see off towards our Lake Erie communities. You're going to have the Erie, Huron counties, Sandusky, Seneca. You're also going to find in those counties that you hold on to that rain a little bit longer than your friends further west do. But a lot of us keep the cloud cover in. But I'm hoping that as we head through the afternoon with that dry slot, that hopefully we can kind of just have a little bit of sun to go with that mild feeling, because you'll actually find temperatures peaking right after lunchtime. That's when we'll reach our warmth of the day, and then we'll have a cold front that swings on through. It brings the clouds back in for Thursday, and it unlocks that cold air. So much of Thursday going to be fairly quiet. It's the back half of the day that the action starts to pick back up. You'll have that cooler breeze that'll be setting up for the snow showers, and they'll just be kind of showery on and off, but they will be moving through around the evening commute and even right around dinner time. Here we are at 6 o'clock tomorrow, and that's when we will be seeing just a few of those pockets of blue here on the map. And that, though, is going to continue even as we head into the later hours of Thursday, and still why we're going to keep a couple of flurries in that Friday forecast. But I wanted to look at some of the temperatures that we've seen today. Even early on, late morning, we had temperatures that were sitting into the upper 50s. So some of us could be reaching those 60s, but we'll be watching for that cold front, because already you can notice that there's already a little variation there for Hillsdale and Williams counties. But we still have that warm feeling, but it's just for today. That's not going to last all that long. But also, I've kind of been taking peeks back because we have a mild start here to 2023. So what does that mean? Are we going to have a mild season? Well, when we look back at 2022, kind of interesting to note that 4 of the months last year, we were below average temperature-wise. And then that means that 8 months, though, out of the year, we were above average. So the majority of the year, we did find our temperatures to be on the warmer side. But we did have a little bit of give and take. But still, the main takeaway, though, is that 8 months, a good chunk of the year, we were looking at those warm temperatures out there. Now, that also, though, does start to add up when you have days like today. What we even had yesterday, some of us reached 60 degrees. Finley, there we saw a record as far as a new high reported at the airport. So with temperatures that are in the 50s and 60s, that kind of helps to bump up some of those average numbers for the month. But it looks like we're going to hold fairly steady with blue coming back on the map for the weekend. You'll find highs that are going to be into the upper 30s, still a couple of 40s. They try to sneak into this forecast. You're going to find 40 degrees for Tuesday, Thursday, and next Friday. So we will be looking at a little more of a mild feel here for January. That means that we could be looking at a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow when these systems roll in, but we don't really have that shot of cold air for what we would anticipate to be our coolest season. Now, we've been looking at this daily almanac here for a couple of days. So even when we check this out, still that morning low was at 46 this morning, still above our averages for the season. But as far as records, well, maybe we can squeeze out 63 degrees today. If so, that would tie or even beat out a record back from 1874. So that's one of our earliest records that we have in the books. But it's going to be a stretch, and thankfully, though, we won't be looking at that record low. That'd be pretty chilly. But we do have that temperature drop, so that mild kind of spring-like feeling, it's not going to last all that long. You'll even be able to monitor that change on that hourly forecast in the WTOL 11 weather app. In the daily tab, you can see that those highs and lows, they're going to be switching back over to that January feel. So, of course, you can always stay updated on weather updates here on WTOL 11 Plus, but 24/7. You will always have those updates on the WTOL 11 weather app. So make sure you have that on your phone. It is a free app to download. And you're going to want to be using the radar function on the app because, like I said, it's still that busy pattern here. None of these days are going to be super soaker days. And we are, though, just going to be looking at some rainfall that could just maybe impact your plans, maybe some snow showers as well. So we will find that the colder air kind of brings us more of a mix of rain and snow. And we'll be watching a system even over the weekend. So just keep that in mind if you have some plans, but we don't have frigid air. You're going to find temperatures that'll be into the upper 30s, near 40 degrees for a few of the days, but it's not completely wet for this full 10-day stretch. You'll find that next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, about a week from now, we will be seeing some dry days, so that's good news, but it is winter after all, so we'll have some clouds that go with them as well. And then it looks like we finish out this 10-day forecast with another system that'll be moving on in. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And don't forget, you can too. We'll make sure that you have the latest updates on the WTOL 11 weather app.